Welcome back to TechMW. What you're seeing is the cheapest motherboard and CPU I could possibly find on eBay. It's an MS something something something, and it was £8. That's right. It has an APU and it's extremely underpowered, as you can see, because it literally has no fan. So let's get this thing set up. As you can see, I have a great storage system for my power supplies, and let's just get that plugged in nice and quick. You know, don't worry too much about static or anything like that. It's perfectly fine to have it on a motherboard box. Now we need our RAM. It's a little bit dusty, but that's completely fine. Just want to make sure I get it in the right slot, of course. Oh no, but it doesn't fit. Let's try some actual DDR3 instead, because surprisingly, this is actually a DDR3 board. Excuse me, just trying to shake that out of the box there. That's fine. Carpet burn, no problem for RAM. Absolutely no problem at all. Let's get that slotted in right there, and this will give us a nice 8 gigs of 1333 megahertz DDR3. Lovely. Let's try and get these connectors plugged in, but I am going to have a bit of trouble because doing it one-handed while recording is not easy. As you can see, the power supply is actually fighting me. Of course, we've got our PS2 keyboard because we're very, very modern on this channel. A USB mouse, and of course Ethernet because this thing has no Wi-Fi. Now our SSD. This is a Kingston SSD. It is a pile of crap. And we've got a whole box of SATA cables. I found this kind of red worm in there. So as you can see, struggling to put it in, but we eventually got it. And this is the final result. Look at this thing. It has a wind power supply, a Kingston SSD, and yeah, and non-standard jumpers, which means I needed a screwdriver to try and figure out how to actually turn it on. Forget the Cooler Master box, we don't need that. Testing on my very, very modern Dell monitor over here. Absolutely fantastic. For some reason, this board wanted me to press F1 to boot because it had a million, billion, trillion errors, but that's fine. Ignore Ultron, just sat there. I call him Ultron, even though it's from Halo, because he looks a bit like Ultron. Nice HP logo. As you can see, I was slightly excited by that. Just got to move the lightsaber out of the way. We don't want that in the way. And as you can see, it booted straight into Windows 10. We are setting up our USB optical mouse because apparently it needs drivers to do that. And, oh yeah, the start menu's slightly slow. We can kind of see what we're working with already. So we're using 99% of our CPU just on the desktop, 1.49 gigahertz. Yeah, this CPU is 15 watts, 4 cores, 4 threads, pretty much as basic as it gets, and it was released in early 2013, so yeah, and with that heatsink and no fan, it has absolutely no boost whatsoever, so we're stuck with this, struggling on the desktop, and don't touch a heatsink like that because it was baking hot. So let's try and get a different kind of cooling solution on this. I think I'm going to use a fan, and I'm going to have to cable tie it somehow. You'll see where I go with this, don't you worry. And of course, this header is proprietary. You can't plug a normal fan into this header. It makes no sense. So I'm going to have to use pliers and destroy it. Absolutely obliterate it. Look at this. Absolutely destroyed. But it's no problem because TechMW completely succeeded with this, and now the special 3-pin fan will go into the 2-pin header. And now we've got to figure out how to turn it on again, and hey, we have a working fan at last. Okay, I say at last, didn't really take me that long. Now we've got to figure out a way to actually attach it because it's a bit finicky, but it's fine. It's lying down flat. We don't need to worry about that at the moment. So, back in Windows, we've got our A4 5000 and our Radeon HD 8330 graphics card. It's a mobile thing. It's got 128 shading units, 8 texture mapping units, 4 ROPs, 497 MHz clock speed, and it was released in August of 2013. So it is slightly newer than the CPU itself, even though they are joined together. Not really sure how that works. So, on to some gaming tests. As you can see, we're still stuck at 99%. Brilliant. But our fan is running, and it is actually keeping the temperature a lot cooler. Now, this thing really struggling to load Black Ops 2 here. As you can see, not responding. Really, really good start for an older game. Now, Black Ops 2 is from 2012, so this hardware from 2013, even though it's low end, should be able to at least run it to some degree, although I haven't got much confidence because the internet wasn't working. But no problem there. Now it's working. So we're going to hop into a reasonably sized map, standoff, and we'll turn bots on because that increases the CPU load a little bit, and also it's boring to play without bots if you're not playing against real people. Okay, after about a 40-minute wait, it crashed. Yeah, yeah, it didn't take 40 minutes, but yeah, absolutely horrendous. Anyway, let's try that again. We've got our FPS counter now, and as you can see, about 40-ish frames a second. Yeah. I mean, not too bad for considering the hardware we're running on. The Radeon is absolutely pinned though. Holding down at about 46 degrees though, so that's going to be the CPU temperature as well because they're on the same die, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, I am failing in my aim here. Every time I zoom in with the scope, it goes down to about 22 FPS. It's horrendous, but that's okay. Turn the settings down a little bit, and as you can see now at 800 by 600 instead of 1024 by 768, we are running about 60 FPS and about 40 when we zoom in, which is much, much better. So much better. Unbelievably better. So yeah, running really well. This definitely is not the ideal Black Ops 2 gaming experience. Now, I tested it with the fan and without the fan, as you can see here. So our lighter colours are Celsius, darker colours are our maximum temperature in Fahrenheit. In Black Ops 2, the 29 degrees C temperature difference equated to a real-world gain of about 6 FPS, or about 21% more performance on average, which is a significant amount with the fan added. So definitely, definitely worth putting that fan on. Next, we tried Gmod. Now, this ran okay. I mean, it is an older game than Black Ops 2. I believe this came out just before 2010, maybe kind of 2007-ish, I'm not entirely sure, but I absolutely stressed this CPU to the limit with as many NPCs as I could. All of these spiders, and I'm not a Gmod player really, I just play with Nextbox and random stuff and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's lagging to horrendous levels, but interestingly, neither the CPU or the GPU is maxed out. I have a feeling the percentages just aren't being reflected properly, and they probably are maxed out. If anything, we're using most of the RAM, which is surprising because that's pretty much the best part of this system. But as you can see, running around, yes, it's a bit laggy, but I would say this is totally playable. Like 100% playable. I would happily play this at this resolution. In Gmod, we observed the highest temperature without a fan to be about 73 degrees, which was 3 degrees cooler than before. However, once we added the fan, the temperature dropped all the way down to 46 degrees, 1 degree cooler compared to Black Ops 2. Now, despite the large temperature difference with the fan added, we only observed an increase of about 4 FPS on average, which is about 16%. So, not too bad. So, overall, absolutely fantastic deal. I have ordered a graphics card, which was the cheapest on eBay. So in the next part of this, we will be exploring the best graphics card on eBay.